So the Mega Dimension DLC has been out for a while now, and this video is going to involve discussion of the main plot and the post-game, so just in case you haven't finished the full DLC yet, this is your official spoiler warning. So once you complete both the main Hyperspace story and the follow-up of Catching Rayquaza, you unlock the ability to do special scans. These Hyperspace holes are home to rare Pokemon like Gimmighoul, Rotom, and Baxcalibur, but there's also a chance you'll find ones that contain several legendary and mythical Pokemon. And while I was still playing through the main campaign, I ended up getting spoiled on some of these legendaries, because it was quickly discovered that 5 of them were not shiny locked. Obviously this meant I had to shiny hunt them, which I'll be showing later in this video, but 3 of these legendaries in particular had me wondering why they were even included, and that led to a whole lot of theorising. To start, let's take a look at Hyperspace itself. As you complete more research surveys, Corbeau theorises that Hyperspace is a manifestation of subconscious desire. The dreams of people in Lumiose City, both their literal sleeping dreams and their general aspirations, are what gives Hyperspace physical form, and why it resembles Lumiose City. This theory is then reinforced when we learn that the source of Hyperspace is a Darkrai that absorbed a huge amount of mega power from Prism Tower. Darkrai has the power to influence people's dreams, but with all the power it received from Ange, that ability was amplified into creating an entire dimension that could itself be shaped by dreams. Ange's dream is the reason she saw a Rayquaza in Hyperspace in the first place, and the entirety of Team MZ wanting to fulfill her dream is how we end up manifesting a Hyperspace version of Sky Pillar to go and catch it. And when Hooper sees the prison bottle that AZ had in his room, that also immediately manifests an unbound Hooper in Hyperspace, presumably from Hooper's intense visualization, or perhaps fear, of what the prison bottle represents. This phenomenon is actually very similar to a theory a lot of people had about Scarlet and Violet, including myself. For several reasons, the Paradox Pokemon make no sense as actually being from the past or future, with both game versions having at least one major inconsistency. In Scarlet version, no fossils have ever been found to prove that any past Paradox Pokemon actually existed. And in Violet version, if the Professor built a time machine to bring Paradox Pokemon from the future, how did Heath see them in Area 0 200 years earlier? The entire deal with the time machine makes a lot more sense if you consider that maybe Terra Crystals actually have the power to manifest desire. After all, the actual phenomenon of terrestrialization is sometimes implied to be Pokemon becoming their true selves, or revealing their true desire. Penny's dialogue when she uses terrestrialization is explicitly saying so, and one of the first gym leaders they expect you to face has their Sudowoodo, a Pokemon that pretends to be a tree, transforming itself into a true grass type. Heath wanted to see strange and inexplicable creatures during his expedition, so Terra Crystals made it happen. Sada and Turo then wanted to see those creatures for themselves, so the Terra Crystals allowed them to make a machine to make it happen. They call it a time machine, but we never actually see the past or future for ourselves. All we know is that the Professor puts Pokeballs into it, and they come back containing the exact Pokemon described within Heath's journal, even including ones that were based on a fictional creature imagined by one of the explorers. The illustration in the Scarlet book that seems to represent a savage hybrid of Raikou, Entei, and Suicune is simply a hypothetical creature inspired by the ones they'd seen so far. And yet, somehow, ancient versions of the Johto legendaries also end up appearing after Sada starts trying to rediscover Heath's ancient Pokemon, even though Raikou, Entei, and Suicune didn't exist until 150 years ago, making it even more improbable that they descended from ancient dinosaurs. The same goes for the Violet book, where this drawing is replaced by a theoretical machine combining the elements of Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion. And much like how this illustration manifested Iron Crown, Iron Boulder, and Iron Leaves into reality, their true counterparts somehow found themselves manifested into Hyperspace. Okay, so by the time I get down to 1,000 calories, I can do about 20 laps. Oh! That's shiny Virizion. Okay. Okay. I need to... Okay. Let me save immediately. Okay. That's crazy. I've done like a few runs here so far. I was only just starting to count to get an idea of how many I can do per reset loop, so I could sort of extrapolate how many I'd done on average. So I want to say I've done maybe 100 at most. That's pretty good. Okay, now what do I want to catch this with? I feel like Dream Ball is a good idea. Kind of fits the whole hyperspace dream concept. And this is also a ball that was introduced in Gen 5. It is the only ball that was introduced in Gen 5. So that does fit as well. That is so cool. And the Gen 5 battle music starts as well. Okay, let's test. How much will I do to this? Okay, wow, I can actually just like one-shot it. Oh, okay, that was pretty simple. I hope I got enough good pictures there, because that was... Wow, okay. The 5 legendaries that you can find in special scans are Virizion, Terrakion, Cobalion, Latios, and Latias. And while every other legendary and mythical in ZA is shiny locked, surprisingly these 5 encounters are not. They can be hunted in the same way as any other Pokemon within hyperspace, and will despawn at a distance of 70 meters and then reappear within 50. Unfortunately, you can't place map markers in hyperspace, so it's hard to tell exact distances for despawning, especially in the case of Virizion, since it's boxed into a courtyard that makes it impossible to visually see when it despawns or reappears. Thankfully, hyperspace is identical to Lumiose City, meaning if you can find the same location in the real city, you can map out the distance and then use landmarks to orient yourself in hyperspace. For Virizion, I worked out that running up to this manhole would put me within 50 meters of the far side of the courtyard, and the top of these stairs would place it fully out of range. Thanks to the fact that shinies won't be fully despawned, I was able to run that route a bunch of times before going to check and see if it had become shiny, making sure to give myself enough time to catch it if it was. The shiny odds are also affected by the shiny charm and sparkling power, meaning their shiny odds can be as low as 1 in 585, although it's not possible to make them guaranteed shinies when using sparkling power 3, since other Pokemon also appear in these wormholes. While I was happy to have a cool set of legendaries that I could shiny hunt, there was still a question nagging at the back of my mind. Why these 3? Latios and Latias being here makes sense. Since they have Mega Evolutions, it was more or less assumed they would be obtainable somehow. And after a bit of thinking, I then remembered that this trio are loosely based on the Three Musketeers, a very famous French novel, which does give them some thematic ties to Kalos. Thankfully, the other 2 Musketeers are a bit easier to shiny hunt, since you don't have to do it blindly. The next special scan I encountered was Terrakion, and this one is perhaps the fastest hunt thanks to a nearby teleporter. You need to take a few steps off the teleporter to get within spawning range, but this is significantly faster than running the full distance yourself. Ooh! Yes! Okay, I was getting very close to calling it a night. It's a good thing I didn't. Okay. Alright, how long do I have? I've got quite a lot, actually. This is pretty close to the start of my donut. Okay, yeah, the catch-ray on that looks really good. We got it. That's Terrakion. Now, I've got a pretty good amount of time left on this donut. So, yeah, I might as well try for some other stuff in here. The Musketeer connection does explain their presence from a meta perspective, but that's obviously not why I made this video. I think there's also a canon, in-universe justification that's much more interesting. While hunting Terrakion, I realised it appears in the same part of hyperspace as Virizion. By this point, I was used to the hyperspace holes reusing the same few parts of Lumiose, and I knew that Cobalion was going to appear on this map as well. But then I started thinking again, why this map? Surely it wasn't picked at random, and in fact, I think it was very intentional. Do you know what lies directly in the middle of this part of hyperspace? The dojo for the Fist of Justice. If you don't see the connection, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion are sometimes referred to as the Legendary Musketeers, in reference to their real-world inspiration, but the canon name for their group is the Swords of Justice. I actually made this connection immediately upon their first introduction, although this didn't go anywhere during the main story. I wonder what these guys are about. This whole justice thing kind of makes me think of the Swords of Justice from Gen 5, but they're the Fist of Justice. But now knowing what hyperspace is and how it operates, I think the presence of the Fist of Justice is responsible for manifesting the Swords of Justice in hyperspace. Ancho was able to manifest Rayquaza from her simple dream of catching it for her mother, and Ivor practically has a cult following that dedicates every waking moment to extolling the virtues of justice, so it's no wonder that the embodiments of justice also began to appear around the hyperspace version of their dojo. Oh! Yes! We got Cobalion. and with a pretty decent amount of time left on the donut. Got him. I really didn't expect these guys to be in the game. Even though I did actually kind of call it the first time I saw the Fist of Justice. This is still a really interesting set of Pokemon to just throw into the DLC. And the fact that you can shiny hunt them too. I was fully expecting for every legendary to just be shiny locked. Because there wasn't any that you could hunt in Legends Arceus. That was just kind of how the game worked. After these three, I also went on to hunt Latios and Latias. This is the end of the theory part of the video, because I don't have a thematic way to tie them into the Swords of Justice, but I thought I might as well show the exact routes I used to hunt all of the Hyperspace Legendaries. Admittedly, my Latias hunt isn't a super helpful example though, because, well, just see for yourself. Okay, Latios is there, right? Okay. And I think I can run from here to there. That despawns it. Wait. What? You're joking. You're joking. No way. I literally just got here. Oh, that is absurd. I haven't even figured out what ball I want to catch this in. Oh, you're not gonna sparkle? You're just sort of trapped in that corner. Oh, I guess you're not aggressive, are you? I mean, that makes sense. You're very polite. This is very different from getting pictures of the Swords of Justice. Those guys were trying to kill me. Yeah, after finding Latias in a single reset, I couldn't not put this in a video. The last one we have is Latios, and I wanted to include this one as well because it does have a slightly different method for hunting it. The fastest way is actually to save at the base of this elevator before going up it for the first time, and then doing soft resets. Ooh, yes! Oh, that was pretty fast too, actually. 214 encounters, shiny Latios. That's every shiny huntable legendary in Mega Dimensions. Oh, that is so cool. Ooh, that might have been good. Ooh. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't spend too long trying to get cool pictures of this because I have to go out somewhere. And I could just leave it saved and come back and do this later, but I want to catch this. So let's get one more shot for the road. You are so cool. I'm pretty sure I said this before when I got my Dynamax Adventure Latios earlier this year, but I just love this shiny colour. I mean, you have like a 4-arrow catch rate anyway. Maybe I can just do this. Ah, okay. Yeah, now we've just got full set. Cobalion, Virizion, Terrakion. Wait, oh yeah, these are all like sequential dates as well. Hang on, if I reorder these. Yeah, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I kind of technically got Virizion and Terrakion on the same day, but I guess it was just past midnight when Terrakion showed up. So these did end up all being just separate days. God, that is so cool. I actually forgot to do this when I got Latias. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's still the same green color. I gotta admit, this is kind of a downgrade to their regular shinies. I do kind of wish they'd kept their unique colouring. But I guess it's also kind of the point that Latios and Latias are basically have the same... It's not the same in stats-wise, I'm pretty sure, but visually it's basically identical. I think it's just their eye colour that tells them apart. It is a shame they really don't like being photographed. Thanks for watching. This is going to be my last ZA shiny hunting video for the foreseeable future, but I do have one more Legends vid in the works that's also going to be theory focused. And if you want more shiny hunting, I'm also working on a bigger project right now that I'm really excited to share when it's done. So if you like this video and you're interested in either of those, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment with your thoughts. Also, if you're going to be at the European International in London this month, I've been invited to attend as a creator, so come say hi if you see me. I might have some cool stuff to trade if you have a Gen 3 game with you, and you can follow me on Blue Sky to find out more.
That was brilliant, Candle, for me. Very much enjoyed